Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Hello there, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your podcast, Empowerography. Today, my guest is Danaye Maier. She is a morning show host on Virgin Radio in Calgary, and also the founder of A Woman a Day Calgary, YYC, on Instagram. How you doing today, Danaye?
Hey, I'm doing great, Brad. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. How's your morning going so far? How was the morning show this morning?
It was good. It was good. Friday's a good day. I don't know how topically you want me to be with this, but Friday's a good day. Although I did stay up too late. I'm in a really bad habit right now of staying up later just because I don't have my commute because I am doing the show from home right now.
Right.
So I was up until 10:30 last night. So 4 a.m. comes real fast.
Oh, yeah, that sounds painful. I think we're all in that habit of staying up really late. I typically don't usually go to bed before 2 a.m. now.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I'm such a night owl at heart. So mornings have been, like doing a morning show has been hard on me because that's not the getting up, it's the going to bed. I have a really hard time forcing myself to go to bed. So I miss those 2 a.m. times. Those are the best.
So we said you're a morning host on Virgin Radio in Calgary. How long have you been doing this?
So I've been in radio for 15 years. I started off doing an evening show, so that lent very well to the night owl in me. I'd work until midnight, and then I'd be up till 4 a.m, and I just kind of lived in this like kind of counterculture from everybody else. But I've been doing mornings here in Calgary for the last 9 years. Started in June of 2011, and haven't really looked back after that.
Wow. So do you have a preference? Do you prefer the morning drive or the evening show?
I prefer the mornings because I am able to be on with two other people. And I think that's really where I thrive when it comes to radio, is bouncing off a couple of other co-hosts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I really, really like that. Although I do miss my late nights and stuff. There was something really cool about being on the radio at night, because you also have these like people that were also just like, maybe like working by themselves. Like I was the only person in the building when I was doing evenings. So I developed these really interesting relationships with listeners and stuff because I had more time to chat with them and everything.
Yeah.
I just feel really lucky to be in radio because it is such a fun industry. But also it's an industry that gives you a chance to build a lot of connection with people that sometimes you'll never actually meet in person. So
yeah,
one of the things I like.
That would be a very cool fringe benefit to have.
Yeah.
So how did you get started in radio?
So I grew up with an uncle in radio. He's actually still in radio in Saskatoon. So growing up, he was an announcer, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. I would go on when he would be on location. And then in grade 9, it was take a student to work day. Yeah. And I was not interested in going to the dental clinic with my mom. And I was not interested in going to sell stuff with my dad, a traveling salesman. So I was like, I want to go to the radio station with Uncle Tim. So I went there, and honestly, that day, I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Wow.
So from grade 9 on, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I started working for the Saskatoon radio station in high school as their mascot.
Okay.
So it was a country radio station.
Yeah.
And their mascot was Holly Cow. So I would put on this cow costume and go to hockey games and different events around the city and everything, which there was a lot of crazy things. Remember, if you ever come across a mascot, remember there's a human in there, because I feel like a lot of people forget that. At least based on
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you got punched and hit a lot. And
oh my God, all the time by like grown men. I'd be like, hey, there's a 16-year-old girl in here. Like, get out of here.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so that's what I started, and then it was kind of cool because I knew all through high school what I wanted to do, so I was kind of able to formulate my high school career around that. I'm awful at math, so I only took like the bare minimum of math to graduate high school because I knew what I was getting in I didn't need really like the high levels of math to get into the college program and everything.
Right.
So I was 17 when I graduated high school and moved straight to Edmonton from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Went to school there. It was a 2-year program at NAIT, the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. And I've been doing it ever since. I got a job, thankfully, right out of college working.
Oh, that's pretty lucky.
Yeah, really, really lucky. One of those situations where you're kind of in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
I had shown a lot of initiative really early on in my 4-month practicum.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, there was one of the junior announcers that was doing it was 2 evenings and 2 weekend shifts a week.
Okay.
She was kind of starting to slip, and she was finding every excuse she could not to come to work at the same time that I was kind of showing that I would do absolutely anything for the radio station. So I actually ended up getting hired on from my practicum 1 month in, and
wow, that's pretty awesome.
A month into a 4-month free practicum for them. So that was really cool. And by getting paid, I mean barely.
Yeah.
Because when you start off in radio, when you start off in any industry, the pay is lower, but radio, just like the bare minimum. But it was some of the best days in radio because I was in a small town, and everybody else that was working there was also just there to do radio. So you kind of built this family, and I'm still best friends with some of the people that I worked with there 15 years ago. So
that's great.
Yeah,
I'm sure you learned a lot, and valuable experience, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Learned so much in that first little while. Basically just, I think the biggest lesson learned, don't think you're too good to do any job, right? I was the grunt worker as much as I, was on the air and everything. I still, one day a week, I had an office day, they called it, but basically it was just me cleaning. So I was kind of like the station janitor for a little bit too, but I never complained, and, I think that's always my biggest piece of advice that I try to pass on to people that are just kind of coming into the broadcast industry and stuff. Don't think you're too good for anything. Say yes to as much as you possibly can and get every bit of experience that you can.
Well, it shows initiative too, right? And I think that not even just in the radio industry, but I think, as you had mentioned very briefly there, that any job you go into, you shouldn't think that you're above doing something, because everyone starts somewhere. You have to start at the bottom. Yeah,
exactly. So learned a lot there. And then, moved on to Edmonton. My first morning show was in Victoria. And then, I've been here in Calgary doing mornings for 9 years, which is crazy.
Excellent. So what is your favorite part of working in radio, being a radio show host?
Oh man, I love that every single day is absolutely different. There's no Groundhog Days in radio, right? There can't be. There shouldn't be.
Now?
Yeah, exactly. Even right now, even though every day is the same because I just come downstairs and do my broadcast from here and then go and hang out with the kids. And we've got a pretty crazy, solid routine of basically doing nothing. But even that, for those 4 hours that we're on the air, you have to be fluid. You have to be moldable.
On your game, right?
Yeah, you have to be on your game. You have to be ready to adapt. You can have the most solid game plan set out for your show, but if something breaks in the middle, you have to be ready to roll with that. Been learning that a lot over the last few months, especially in mid-March when news was just, it was so hard to keep up with everything. So, so kind of relearning that a little bit. I think a big example, one of the first situations for that for me was in 2013 when Calgary had the massive flood that displaced a ton of people, and just having to learn how to roll with that. And as much as we're not a news station, we are a music station. In the mornings, we've built up a pretty good rapport with our listeners, and our listeners do come to us for information as well as entertainment. So I think that's kind of cool too. I like the fact I am a bit of a news junkie and everything. So I like that we've kind of built up this thing that people do come to us for information. Right. And I like being kind of that first person to give that to them. I think that's really cool. And I love that we get to hang out with somebody when they're just starting their day. And that's a huge, huge blessing, because if people choose to hang out with us to start their day and set the tone for their day, I think that's really, really cool. So I like that. I like being able to hang out with my two co-hosts, Tyler and Fuzzy. Super fun. I call them my other two husbands.
Your work husbands?
Oh, yeah, exactly. So I have 3 husbands, my actual one, and then 2 husbands at work. So which can be a blessing and a curse sometimes, of course.
Yeah.
But, that's really cool. And I love the fact that I'm able to be creative. I was a huge drama nerd in high school and was in a ton of plays and stuff like that. And also like a bit of a musician as well. So it's kind of left some room for me to still be able to do that kind of stuff too.
I've always heard it's very hard to break into the radio industry. Is that right?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, there's only so many radio stations and there's only so many jobs at said radio stations. So I think like right away, even at the height of radio, we were limited. Now it's even more so. There's so much automation. There's so much syndication. There's so many jobs just being cut on a daily basis as technology grows and grows.
Yeah.
I feel really lucky to work for a radio station that is almost all live. We're kind of automated between midnight and 5 days a week. And then there's a couple of shows that we syndicate, like Ryan Seacrest countdowns, like kind of like things like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's a live body in the studio. For a little while though, like our midday show was Ryan Seacrest from Los Angeles. And, you know, and so that was taking away a show and a show like Middays, you know, that's what people listen to at work.
And
that kind of thing. So I think what we've kind of come back to though is realizing that is something radio can give people that a lot of other entertainment platforms can't, is that local talk, right? That local information. Ryan Seacrest can't tell you what's going on in downtown Calgary at the noon hour, right? So I really like that we've started to value that. But yeah, it is a tough industry to crack into. And, you know, once people get in and if they're a success, they generally tend to stay there. So the turnover can be kind of tough, but I don't know. I think if you have will and determination, it's still possible. That's the most important thing, as it is with so many careers, of course.
Yeah, true. Now, I would imagine that radio is a pretty much male-dominated industry. How does that feel? Am I correct? Is that right?
Yeah, it's still fairly male-dominated. Again, I think I don't mean to like act like our station's like the best out there. We're pretty lucky. I mean, we are a female geared radio station. Our core demographic is 18 to 34-year-old females. That's who we're going after the most. We're a top 40 radio station. So we are fairly female heavy as far as on the air goes. But it's interesting. In not only is it still fairly male dominated. I mean, it's getting a little bit better, but, I was not too long ago, I was sitting in an all staff meeting. And I was sitting there and I realized that in a room of probably 30 people, I was the only person in there that's given birth.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I was going to bring something up and I realized really quickly, nobody's going to understand what I'm talking about. There's of course men in the room that have kids and everything, but so I find that really, really interesting that it's like motherhood seems to be kind of makes you a minority in the radio industry a little bit. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Starting out, when I first started, oh gosh, it was still very much a boys' club. I worked at a radio station that was all men except for myself and one other woman. So that was So that was really interesting. I mean, I've always kind of been, even like in high school and everything, like I've always had like, you know, some girlfriends and stuff. I've always tended kind of to be one of the guys. Right. So that suited me okay. But now that I'm like a little bit older and I look back on that, I'm like, hey, like that wasn't good, you know? And I think that is where we're going. That's the direction we're headed in as a society too, right? We're trying to make things more diverse and equal.
Did you face any adversity being a woman in the industry in the beginning of your career? And if so, how did you deal? Yeah,
no, I definitely did at the beginning. Especially since I did gain success really quickly. Okay. So I was, you know, you're always kind of told when you start out in radio that you have to go to like a small market for 5 years before anybody will even take a chance on you for one of the lower positions in a major market. And so first of all, I was hired for my practicum. Unfortunately, the person that I took the job from was another female. So that's too bad on my practicum. But I got called up, I guess, to the big leagues to Edmonton 10 months into my career. And that was through my own merit. That was through me working hard. That was me naturally having kind of a natural sound that was ready for that kind of thing. Yeah. But there was unfortunately some people at the small town radio station that I was at that started to chatter and started to question how I got my job. And there were some pretty nasty rumors.
Here we go.
Yeah. Really, really bad rumors. And obviously those people don't know me because that's so not the case. And for them to assume is just so gross. Now I can, very happily tell you those people are not in the radio industry
That's
anymore.
good. I think that's horrible though. That mindset that the only way a woman can succeed is to do certain things with certain people, or I cannot believe that kind of attitude even exists anymore.
I know, right? And like for me, like that was only like 14 years ago, right? Like
Horrible.
it wasn't that long ago that
No.
kind of mentality still existed. So that's crazy. I mean, I think the radio station that I did go to work for in Edmonton, it was again dominantly male. So there was like a lot of locker room talk, I would kind of say, that wouldn't be acceptable now. I mean, being like a 19-year-old female, I kind of would just like kind of laugh along, that kind of thing. That wouldn't fly with me anymore. You know, I mean, I can still take a joke, but there's certain things we don't need to joke about. And there's certain ways we don't need to talk about other women and stuff. So there was a lot of that kind of chatter happening around me a lot in the early parts of my career as well. So, and then when you contribute to something like that as a female, you kind of have that bit of guilt that automatically goes along with that too. Yeah. So I would say those are the kind of interesting little bits of diversity I faced at the beginning.
Now, in addition to your job as a morning show host, you started a collective or a community organization and Instagram page, A Woman a Day YYC. Where did the idea for that come from, and why did you decide to start this community focused on women?
So this was leading up to International Women's Day 2019, so leading up to March 8th of last year. And we were just kind of trying to figure out how we wanted to mark International Women's Day that year, because I think that holiday has been gaining a bit more steam over the last few years, the women's marches and all of that stuff. So we wanted to mark it in a special way. It was also my first International Women's Day back on the air in a couple of years, because I had been on mat leave and all of that stuff. So we wanted to mark it in a good way. It was the first time the guys had a female counterpart on the air with them too, and they wanted to kind of celebrate it in a special way. But we were just kind of talking about it, and I kind of brought up, like, I love International Women's Day. It's so important that we have that day to get out and protest and stand up for things that are injustices. Not, and we're here in Canada, we're pretty lucky, but stand up for other places in the world. They're still so far behind. But it was just kind of like, that's awesome, but why are we not celebrating women every single day? So that's kind of where the idea to celebrate a different woman every day came from. There was also another part of it that I was really struggling with social media after the birth of my second kid. I don't know if that was like a combination of, like some postpartum feelings. I had both of my mat leaves very close together, so I only worked for 6 months in between my two mat leaves. So I know, it was real fast, real fast.
Yeah, I'm sure that your boss was happy.
He was actually pretty supportive. He's okay.
That's good.
But I was just, I think not working and not doing what I love to do so much left me with some pretty bad feelings, and I was kind of down on myself. I found myself really comparing myself to other people, and then that comparing myself to other people that I saw on social media led me to not celebrating other people's successes. And I hated that about myself, because as soon as you're judging someone else, I think that kind of opens up your own insecurities. If you have time to judge somebody else, there's something missing from your life. And so I wasn't sure what that was, but I wanted to challenge myself to, instead of judging other people, celebrating other people and lifting other people up. I also wanted to encourage other women to do the same, and also celebrate themselves, because I think women are still so bad at acknowledging the incredible things that they bring to their families, their communities, and to the world. So those three things kind of rolled together to this light bulb going off. To highlight a different woman every single day in Calgary, and have that woman share her story personally and share her successes. So I've been doing that since March 8th. We launched it of 2019. So I guess we're at awful again with math, but about
just over a year now.
Just over a year.
So coming on a year and 2 months. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're at about 400 featured women from Calgary, and it's just so cool to watch it grow and everything over the last little while, not just follower wise, but the amount of women that want to nominate. So it is like, I'd say 80% nomination based, where these other women are like, hey, I want to shout out my sister. She's doing this amazing thing. I want to shout out my coworker. I want to shout out my boss, my mom, everything. So it's turned into this really great community of women lifting up other women.
That's incredible. I love that.
Yeah. And it's so cool. Like most times I'll reach out to these women. I'll say, hey, you've been nominated. Because I do want to get the stories from themselves, and they'll say, oh, I don't do anything. I don't do anything special. And I say, like, well, I've heard otherwise, first of all, like, you've been nominated.
Yeah.
But take this as a bit of an exercise and a bit of a practice in digging deep and acknowledging to yourself all the amazing things that you do. And then these women send me their stories back. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did it take this for you to realize how incredible you are, right?
Yeah.
So, so that's been really, really beautiful. And
that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I hope it keeps going forever.
I don't know, in my experiences, that's not as common as I would have thought, where women are celebrating and lifting each other up. I come from a corporate background before I jumped into my entrepreneurship, and in the corporate world, I had seen a lot of women tearing other women down because they want to be successful where this other woman had been successful, jealousy and shit talking other women. I still can't believe or wrap my head around the fact that women do that to each other when it's already been going on for years and years and years, with men doing it to women and men keeping women down. So it just boggled my mind to see women keeping women down. I couldn't understand it for the life of me.
Yeah, I know it's a tough thing to think about and to wrap your head around. I don't like being the type of feminist that wants equality out of tearing men down. I don't like that. I have a husband, I have a son. They're good men. I know there's so many good men, just like there's, lots of bad women as well, right? Like there is, so I don't want to be that type of feminist. So I don't want to go and put the blame on men. But I think that for a long time, women have been told that there's only so much room for them in certain industries and in certain places in the world. So I think that's where a bit of the competitive nature comes from. If I'm told, and I look at any given industry and one of the positions is for a woman out of 10, I'm going to get competitive, and I'm going to try and fight against, if there's only room for one of us, it's hopefully going to be me. So I think that's where a lot of that tearing down has come from. Is the fact that that's kind of been drilled into our heads, even now. Like, I think I would hope, like, the next generation, it's a little bit better. And I think we're seeing it. There's been a really major step forward into making sure that things are diverse and equal and everything as far as genders go in the workplace and all that. So I think, and I hope that's getting better. And I feel like my Instagram page is proof that that's happening, because there are so many women that are nominating coworkers and everything like that. So.
Well, I was going to say it's initiatives like the one you've started that will hopefully shatter that whole thing of women tearing women down and have women lifting each other up and celebrating each other. So I think it's incredible what you've done. So good on you for doing something like that and helping further that whole movement of women celebrating each other. I think it's necessary for sure. And I still don't think we are where we need to be in terms of women being in C-suite level positions and whatnot. It's still, the numbers still aren't where they should be.
Oh, 100%. I totally.
Not even close.
And I think it's really cool that you are a male hosting a podcast about female empowerment. Like that's you in your own right doing something to work towards equality too. Like that is so awesome. That's kind of been one of the sad things about my Instagram page is, is the amount of followers that are male. Like I looked at my insights the other day, and followers are 90% female and 10% men, which is too bad, because it would be nice for men to be embracing this really cool thing that's happening and watching a community come together of people in their community doing amazing things. I've also only had a handful of men nominate women, which, like, guys, the brownie points that gets you with your wife or your girlfriend? That alone, get on it. But yeah, so anytime I get like a message from a man nominating somebody, I'm just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And I tell them, I say, hey, like, just so you know, this is rare. Thank you so much for taking the time and for finding the page, first of all, and liking it enough to want to contribute to it and everything. But also, you're one of the only men that have reached out to me in the year and a bit that I've been doing this. That, want to shout out the woman in your life. So in that case, I like really pump them up and everything, because then maybe they'll tell their guy friend, hey, you should do this. And in a lot of cases, they end up coming back with return, like more and more nominations, which just helps me keep the page going, right?
For sure. That's awesome. Well, thank you for that acknowledgement. I think I don't know, I've heard, like I've had talks with female friends and stuff about feminism and things like that. And I've heard some women say, well, what does a man know about women's rights and advocating for women and so on and so on. It's like, really? You're going to knock me down because I want to? No, I'm not a woman. And no, I can never even begin to say I know or even imagine what women have gone through leading up to where we are now in society and in time. But you would think that women would be happy to have a man on board trying to do what they can, whatever a man can do, to help advocate for women and women's rights and body positivity and self and all that stuff for women. It just,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's get everybody on our team. The more people on our team, the less on the other. Right? Like, invite anybody that wants to support the cause of women being treated the exact same way a man is. Like, I don't understand why you would want to make that gender specific and that only women can support other women. That's a little crazy to me.
That's what I thought too. But I mean, to each their own. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I would just think that you would be happy to have someone else, another person, advocating for women's rights. That's all. And
100%.
I mean, I love being able to do this, to provide a platform for women like yourself to share what they're doing to help further the cause for women and advocate for women. I love that I can do that. I love that I can do this through my photography business as well, advocating for women and pushing body positivity and self-love and self-confidence. And it's like, it's my purpose.
I love it. That's so awesome. And yeah, the whole boudoir photography thing too. I haven't done a photo shoot myself yet, but some of my girlfriends that have, they're just like, it makes you feel so good. It's the greatest thing I've ever done for myself. So thank you for giving that to women as well.
Thank you. So with your community, A Woman a Day, do you feature a woman every single day, a different woman every single day?
Yes, every single day from all walks of life. I've, featured a lot of entrepreneurs, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of stay-at-home moms as well, bus drivers, nurses, doctors, scientists. One of my favorite features of all time. Because I've developed really special friendships with a lot of the people that I featured. But one of my all-time favorite women that I featured is a 21-year-old who is, she calls herself a scientista. And of course, there's a huge push to have more and more women in STEM industries. And this girl became the world's youngest researcher of lymphedema at the age of 14.
What?
At the age of 21 is presenting her research worldwide.
Wow.
Oh, it's just so absolutely cool. And I just love that she coined that term for herself.
That's scientista. I love it. That's incredible. Good for her. Amazing.
Yeah.
Starting so young, I think that's incredible.
So incredible.
More women. And this is where the whole thing of mothers and fathers, of course, teaching their daughters when they're young and imparting on them the wisdom of, you can do anything you want in the world. There are no limitations. There are these shattered, as the saying goes, shatter the glass ceilings. There is no limitations. I mean, for boys too, of course, but we're speaking about women right now and starting girls at a young age to encourage that and teach them about empowerment and that they're able to do anything they want in life. There are no limitations.
For sure. And I mean, I know, like, even like, I mean, it's getting to the point where I was in high school a pretty long time ago, but, it was, I'm a millennial. And even then, like, guys took shop, girls took home ec,
Yeah.
you know, like, and so I think that that's been a really big change. And I think that, I love seeing all the programs that are encouraging women to get into like science and engineering and math and stuff like that. And I hope for my daughter that she knows that that's an option for her. If she inherited my terrible math skills, it won't be, but that has nothing to do with her gender.
My youngest daughter is taking sciences. She's taking life sciences in university right now.
Oh my gosh. So cool.
Yeah.
Good for her.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the criteria for a woman to be featured, or is there what specifics do women need to know?
There's no specifics whatsoever.
Okay.
I think the biggest piece of criteria is that the woman is willing to share her story and willing to acknowledge the gifts she brings, whether, you know, that's on a large scale or a small scale. It really does not matter to me. I think as long as she's willing to open up and share a little bit about herself, that's all she needs to do is to get on the page. Obviously, she needs to have somebody nominate her and stuff like that. That's kind of how it works. But so no, there's no criteria. It's not like they have to like be super charitable or, you know, have this like crazy business or anything like that. Just be willing to share.
So can you tell us a bit about the process for featuring women on your page?
Yeah, so basically I'll get a nomination, and 99% of the time I'll get the nomination, and then I'll ask to reach out to them personally, just because I kind of like to encourage them to share their story. There's been a few, for example, like a girl nominated her mom and just sent in like the most beautiful essay on her mother, and I was like, okay, you know what, we're going to surprise your mom with this. We're going to leave it as is, right? So there's like rare cases like that. So somebody will send me a nomination just through Instagram. I do everything through Instagram messaging there. They'll send a message. I think you should nominate so-and-so. I'll reach out to that person and let them know. I mean, Instagram's got some pretty tight character limits, so I'm looking for write-ups that are like 250 words, right? Which some women struggle with being able to fit in that, and they're like, oh, I have so much to say, so that can be a little bit of a constraint on some people. But and then from there, I will take that write up and I'll write my own little addition onto the front of it, and then I have them share obviously a photo. I would never want to just put a photo up of somebody that they didn't give me permission to share, because some people will be like, here, put this photo up of her. I'm like, no, I will have her tell me which photo she wants, because I want her to represent herself the way she wants to represent herself. So
absolutely,
yeah, that's kind of how it goes. And at the beginning of the page, when it was a baby, it was daunting to commit. I mean, initially I committed to a year. I was going to do this every single day for a year. So at the beginning, I'm like, okay, I've got 365 women to find in the year ahead of me. And so at the beginning, it was scary. It was hard. It was like, there would be some days where I didn't know who I was featuring tomorrow. I didn't have a write-up. I didn't have anyone, but somehow it just keeps falling into place. I have not missed a day yet. And now it's at the point where I usually am scheduling my posts like 2-3 weeks in advance. I usually have.
Wow. I was just going to say, your email, your message box must be flooded because you have enough content to release something every single day.
Yeah. It's scary. It can be really scary. I remember last summer I was supposed to be on vacation at a lake in BC, and I was just unfortunately on my phone the entire time. And in those cases, then I go hunting. I go women hunting. And I just like search through all my followers, like reach out like, hey, can I feature you? Hey, can I feature you? That was something I really had to hustle for at the beginning. Now it just kind of like supports itself with the steady flow of nominations and women submitting their write-ups. Because that's the other thing too. Like, I don't want this to add added stress to anybody's life. So I'm not going to be like, I need your write-up by tonight. Like I'm when the women are like, when's the deadline? So I'm like, whenever you get to it. Because I also don't want it to be something rushed. And I don't want it to feel like another commitment, another requirement that a woman has in her day, right? I've got it down to a science, I think, for the most part right now. I committed to doing a year, and there was just no way I could stop on International Women's Day this year. I had to keep going, and I've really pivoted over the last, I'd say, 5 or 6 weeks, featuring mostly frontline workers, a lot of nurses, lab workers, doctors, grocery staff, that are kind of still having to put themselves out there and work to keep the world afloat through this entire thing. So it's kind of, I guess, gotten a little difficult in the last little because my criteria is a little specific right now because I'm kind of trying to focus on that. But as things get back to normal, I'll be able to go back to all the cool entrepreneurs and that kind of thing that I have waiting in the wings.
Well, I think it's amazing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Do you hold meetups and events for the community as well? Or is it just an IG page?
Yeah, no, I really quickly realized that I was going to have to hop into real world. I really started to notice in the first couple of weeks, even women starting to make comments in the comment section on Instagram, like, "Hey, that's super interesting. I'd love to talk to you about this. I'd love to ask you a couple questions. Hey, we should get together." And I'm like, "Okay, we need to make this a real thing." So I've held a couple of smaller scale meetups. I was actually so surprised. I didn't know how it was going to go. I held my first meetup in June, so March, so the page is a couple months old at that point, 3 months or so. And I just kind of I kept it really casual because I was like, people are busy. Who's going to actually want to come out and meet a bunch of people they don't know, right? Like I personally find it hard enough to see my best friends, right? So I know how hard it can be to just like kind of step out of your comfort zone and go and see people you don't know. So I just put it out there. I said, this is where I'm going to be. This is the time. Hope to see you there.
Yeah.
And my very first go, I had 50 women show up.
Wow.
And
That's awesome.
most of them by themselves. Came down just to network and meet other women that they had featured. And of course I directed the invitation directly to the women that had been featured so far, but I also put it out for all the followers too. Right.
Yeah.
So 50 women. And it was so cool because as the night was going on, you saw women start to pair up and cluster up and everything. And then some women, like when it was kind of starting to wind down, some women were going to like different bars together. And I see them posting on Instagram now still, before all this crazy social distancing happened, but still hanging out together and getting together and having even play dates with their kids and everything. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, that was I can't even describe the feeling after that first meetup. It was a complete feeling of euphoria and just being in a room with so many like-minded and genuine positive, badass positive women. It was so cool. So this year for International Women's Day leading up, I made it a little bit more of an organized thing.
Okay.
I sold tickets and had like an actual event with like swag bags and a photo booth and like a red carpet and that kind of thing. Yeah. So I ended up selling 200 tickets.
Wow.
And made it a charity-based thing too. So 50% of every ticket went to a local charity. A woman that I featured started this charity called Stand ASA, which is Stand Against Sexual Assault.
Okay.
So they are a peer support group for other women that are looking for somebody to talk to who's been assaulted. And very grassroots, very, very small organization that actually don't even have their government funding yet because they want to keep all of their clients anonymous, and I guess to get into
understandably
you have to have records and stuff. So that was like my first thought, like I wanted to help them out. And then we had different speakers. We had the scientista got up and spoke about her experiences. We had the founder of the organization we were supporting get up and share a incredibly powerful and of course heartbreaking story about her experiences and why she chose to start this organization. And it's crazy to be in a room of 200 women and it be silent while this woman was up on stage speaking. And it was just such a powerful night. And then of course, once the speakers were done, we had a DJ and then the drinks started flowing and it was such a riot. And it was right before the world shut down. So I think it's going to hold such a special place in my heart for so long, because I just think back like how many women I hugged that night, how many hands I shook, and how long it's going to be before, if we ever get back to that. And I know I've had a few comments from some of the women that were there that night, and just like, that was the last night out for me. That was the last really fun thing out of the ordinary that I did for a really long time. So really, really lucky that it was held when it was, because it was the following week that the government.
Yeah, that's a great impression to leave on people's minds. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I hope to get back to the meetups. I think we'll have to have hopefully some kind of get together this fall for sure. And then
will you do them quarterly or?
That was how it was going. It was kind of a quarterly kind of process. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I would like to do something around the holidays. I think it'd be kind of cool to like kind of do a charity drive kind of thing then, but I think it'll definitely be an annual International Women's Day meetup
Very
kind of
cool.
thing.
That will be the big event, the big culmination.
Yeah,
Year,
yeah,
right?
and like it's the anniversary of the page too, right?
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Now,
So,
have you thought about taking this whole a woman a day and expanding it to other cities, like creating other chapters or anything like
yeah.
that, or is that too far down the
I
pipeline?
haven't
Okay.
thought about it just yet. I mean, I feel like I would feel kind of overwhelmed to run that personally myself. But I
Yeah.
mean, if anybody's listening, I mean, I am not, it is my baby, but I'm
Yeah.
also okay with sharing that. If anybody's
Right.
listening and wanted to join up and do another chapter, I actually have a colleague in Edmonton. She
Yeah.
does a morning show for Virgin Edmonton. She's launched an Edmonton version.
Oh,
And
very
yeah,
cool.
I am totally okay if somebody wants to adopt the idea and start it going. Because I mean, man, you get female empowerment like this going in every single city and every single town
Exactly.
across Canada. It's only for the better, and that's what this
That's
position is all about. Yeah, I'm not gonna like, yeah, put my claim down on the idea. I mean, I
well, like
will
you said,
start
it
with
is your
payment.
baby, but
Yeah. But yeah,
I
no,
think
I would love that.
that'd be a brilliant idea.
Yeah,
Spread across the
totally.
country, go countrywide, coast to coast.
Heck yeah, no, that would be absolutely incredible. If anybody that's listening to this is interested, and I mean, let me know. I've kind of worked out the kinks with everything, so reach out to me and I'll coach you through it and everything.
Awesome, awesome. So, what is your biggest high or greatest win to date for you personally?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think probably the most recent and the biggest scale was because of the page.
Yeah,
I was nominated for so Virgin is obviously like we're Virgin Radio. We're owned by a Canadian media company, but we
yeah.
rent the brand technically from Richard Branson. It is the
Okay,
Virgin. It is Richard Branson's Virgin brand
right.
that yeah, so he has a bazillion employees worldwide, and he kind of started this rewards program a number of years back for most of the companies. But for whatever reason, they just started to include radio this past year.
Yeah.
So they started this Virgin Star rewards program, and I got nominated to be the representative, the Virgin Star for Virgin Alberta, which I thought was really, really cool.
Awesome.
Very exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then from there, I was named the Virgin Canada Star.
Wow.
Yeah, which was absolutely insane because there's a few Virgin radio stations across the country, and
Yeah.
there's such amazingly talented people at every single one of them. So that was really kind. I really appreciated the kind of the big people there making that choice.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was chosen. So Virgin Radio is in 11 countries worldwide.
Yeah.
So from there, they chose 3 representatives. So myself, a
Oh,
program director from Virgin Italy, and a producer from Virgin Dubai. The 3 of us got flown to London to meet Richard Branson.
wow.
Yeah, yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. So it's one of those things that I still like pinch myself and can't believe that happened.
Incredible. Congratulations. That's quite
Thank
an
you.
accomplishment. You should be
Yeah, so
very proud.
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. It was really, really, really cool. I was able to go with my husband. My company is kind of a congratulations for being named one of the Virgin Stars worldwide. Bought my husband a plane ticket as well. So we were able
Nice.
to go. We had never been to London before. We had
Yeah.
never been anywhere since we had our kids.
Right.
So it was a really cool, and it was like a guilt-free getaway without the kids because it was like, I've done this. I have to go,
Yeah, that's right.
See
There's,
you later. So yeah, so we went over to London and got to experience that. And yeah, so it was a party held for like basically all of the Virgin brand's top employees. So
nice.
it was everything you would imagine a billionaire's party to look like. And like acrobats swinging from the ceiling and
Wow.
pyro and drinks, like the fanciest drinks of all time, and like crazy gourmet meal. And yeah, it was just really cool. And it was so neat to meet people from all over the world
Yeah.
that work for the Virgin brand, because the Virgin brand it's an amazing brand. If you've ever like, I don't know if you know very much about it and everything, but he called the company Virgin because it's kind of your inspiration to try something new every single day.
Right.
That's why he named it that. And yeah, the
Very cool.
yeah, so it was really, really great. So I would say that was my biggest win so far.
Awesome. What profession other than the one you're currently in would you like to attempt?
This is I would still be in the entertainment industry,
Right.
but it's always been a major dream of mine to be a children's entertainer.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, and I actually got to put that hat on recently because one of the
Oh,
things that we did during this whole crisis when kids were out of school and everything, myself and my two co-hosts developed a children's show for the
okay.
called For the Kids. And
Okay.
so my co-host Tyler, he's got two kids that are 9 and 6. So they did a version of Kids News, which
Yep.
was really cool. And then my other counterpart, Fuzzy, he did like a science experiment kind of segment. And then I sat with my keyboard in my basement and did parody songs about like washing your hands and staying safe and staying at home. And I like flexed my ventriloquism skills, and I put like a face on my hand sanitizer bottle, and that became Sanny, the sanitizer. She was my sidekick, and it got real weird, but it was so fun to finally do that. And now I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta work on that. I feel like there's something there.
I could do something with this.
Yeah. So that's my kind of like side dream right now.
Very cool. What sound or noise do you absolutely love?
I love the sound of a frying pan that's super hot being put underneath cold water. That sizzle, or like if you like chuck water on like a metal fire pit,
Yep.
I don't know what it is. That sizzle's like the most satisfying sound to me in the world. And I guess a close second would be silence after a baby finally stops screaming.
What is your favorite word?
Oh, that was one that I didn't really have a good answer for. I have a really good answer for your follow-up question to that.
All right. Okay, we'll go to that. What's your favorite curse word?
It's so cliche, but God, I love fuck. I love the word fuck so much. I love how versatile it is. I don't know if you're familiar with the show Dexter. It was a huge show.
I remember Dexter. Yep.
And you remember Deb and how she had the worst potty mouth ever. Well, my
Yep.
nickname in my family is Deb.
Ah.
My mom like tried to wash my mouth up with soap like as recently as 5 years ago because I dropped that word so often. I know it's got to be everybody's favorite curse word.
It
Isn't
is. I think it is because it's so versatile.
Oh, and it just feels so good. Like I don't care what anybody says. When you're mad, and you say "fuck."
Yeah,
You feel so much better.
the good release. What are you not very good at?
Oh, cleaning, like being organized. I'm like very organized in so many aspects of my life that I have zero interest in being organized in like my house and my chores and that kind of thing. I have gotten a few new vehicles over the years, and every time I get one, I vow to myself, this is the one I'm going to take care of.
Yeah.
This is the one that's not going to be a garbage can on 4 wheels. And I fail miserably every time.
Well, at least you're taking it and trying, right? You're putting in the effort.
Yeah, I really I thought this whole like quarantine thing would be the time that I would finally get it together. But oh, Brad, if you could see the mess that I'm sitting in right now.
Well, it's now we're in the time that I got lots of time. I'll get to it tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'll do it tomorrow because we got who knows how much time we have dealing with this being home. So it's always like, I'll get to it. Don't worry. It's not going anywhere.
There's just a million things I could think of better to do than clean.
Yeah,
even in quarantine.
sure. I agree. I can't stand vacuuming and stuff. I don't mind sweeping. I don't mind mopping. But I cannot stand dusting. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah, who has the time? That's just an extra layer of protection for your furniture, right?
Yeah. There we go. Hey, I got to try that one with my wife.
There you go. I can help you make an excuse for anything.
All right. If you could have one superpower, what would that be?
Teleportation.
Teleportation. Okay.
Yeah. I have, I'm super, super close with my family, like incredibly close. Like with my immediate family, we are all each other's best friends. I have 2 siblings. who have chosen incredible partners for themselves. And so they've become siblings to me too.
Yeah.
But we've all kind of like lived apart from each other. We're the closest right now, in that we're all like a 2.5 hour driving radius from each other.
Okay.
But for a while, like I lived on the island, Vancouver Island. My parents lived in Saskatchewan. And that was just always my dream, was to be able to just like snap my fingers and be there for Sunday supper and snap my fingers and go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, yeah. Again, like I think with this whole like quarantine thing, I mean, I have so much family still in Saskatchewan and everything. And Calgary is about a 7-8 hour drive from my grandparents and my cousins that are like siblings to me. So teleportation is the way to go.
That makes sense. What is a passion of yours that you rarely share with people, and why not?
Well, I guess I kind of shared a little bit already, but the whole like children's entertainer thing, I have written probably 20 kids songs.
Oh, cool.
That have never seen the light of day outside of my kids' bedrooms. And like, yeah, so I like sing them to my kids, and I have had a dream to record them and everything. Like I played in like multiple bands and stuff like that. Like I've always been a singer and everything.
Oh, okay.
So I've written a decent amount of originals when it comes to like actual, I guess, music and stuff. And I've recorded a few of them, but I've never really shown anybody else my kids' songs. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel like a little bit extra embarrassed to share them, but maybe someday.
You should, absolutely. Share your talents with the world. Let people know. Can you share a situation that's occurred in your life that will provide insight as to who Danaye is, what your character is?
I'm really good at making friends everywhere I go. I think it's the small town Saskatchewan in me, and I get made fun of so often for the interesting friends that I make. And sometimes I put myself in the not safest of situations through this. For some reason, the first thing that popped to mind was when you asked this question was I had developed a bit of a friendship with a listener, and it was safe. It was fine. It was a woman that was about 20 years older than me, I'd say. Yeah. And of course, my counterparts on the radio station, not quite as open to creating friendships with strangers. But she texted into the radio station one day and said, "Hey, I'm outside. I brought some shoes that I want to lend you to wear to your wedding." And I said, "All right, I'll be right down." And I went down. We were on like the 3rd floor. I went down and met this woman in the back alley, and it was cold and it was snowing, I think. And I got into this woman's car and sat there with her for like an hour. I was late to a meeting, and the guys are so worried about me. They're like, "What happened? Where did you go?" I was like, "Oh, I was just hanging out with Penny down in the alley." And they're like, "Oh my God, Danaye, why did you do this to yourself?" And that's not the only time something like that has happened. So I feel like that's a bit of an insight to the fact that I don't know, I'm a little too trusting, I guess, sometimes. Thankfully, I'm still okay. Nothing really bad's ever happened to me.
No kidding.
I'm willing to make friends with anybody.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess it's good in a way, and it's bad and dangerous in another, but it's who you are. So
I think now that I have kids, I am a little bit more careful. I'm a little bit more careful.
That's good.
Whose cars I get into.
And whose shoes you borrow.
Yeah, I did take the shoes. I did not wear them to my wedding.
Did you return them to her?
Yes, I did. I returned them to her after. Like, no,
so you saw her again.
I did. I didn't get into her car that time. It was a nicer day.
What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Why is this a hard question for me? I mean, this is kind of what I've made my mark doing. I think empowerment just means giving somebody else a voice. Is that an okay answer?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Yeah, giving somebody a voice. That's, I think, I don't know if I really touched on that when I was talking about my Woman a Day page earlier, is that's one of the greatest things about the page is I already have had a voice for so long as far as being a radio announcer, right? I automatically have a voice that people tune into. Yeah. And there's so many people that don't get to share their stories. So I think empowerment is being able to give and then also using that voice, hopefully for good.
Yeah. Awesome. What is your favorite quote or one of your favorite quotes?
Very cliche, but something I think about a lot is stop and smell the roses. I think every woman should remember that. I mean, you could also just say breathe. would be another quote for me, because I forget sometimes. Being a working mom of two toddlers with a husband and a band and family that I like to see as often as I can. I am very go, 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 go. Result in some control freak tendencies. I really am bad at just like, I'm bad at stopping to like take a look, and I'm always planning and like going on to the next thing that sometimes I forget. Just stop and enjoy the moment. And so that's something I really, really try to remind myself of as often as I can. Now that I've acknowledged that like my control tendencies are a little out of control, that's something I'm working on.
Well, now is a good time to be able to do that and take advantage of that advice.
Yes, honestly, I know like a lot of people have talked about that, and it sucks that we're not like in real life and in normal life right now, but I have been able to spend so much time with my kids. The week leading up to this whole thing was the week of me planning my event, and I missed putting my kids to bed 4 nights that week.
Wow.
And so going into this time where we're all at home together 24/7 has made me appreciate them so much. And it's hard, and they're 4 and 2, and so it's crazy times, but I've really bonded, especially with my son, my 2-year-old. I feel like we bonded a lot over the last little while.
That's awesome. If you could sit and have a 1-hour conversation with anyone in the world, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
It would have to be Natalie Maines of the Dixie Chicks. She's the most badass woman I can think of. This is somebody that was willing to put her entire career that she had built on the line to say what she thought. And I would love to sit down and talk to her. I think she could be an amazing teacher of female empowerment and how to start that girl tribe movement kind of thing. And like they're coming out with new music right now, and it sounds like she's been through a lot over the last few years. And again, I think she's got the most incredible voice. I think she's so talented. She's like one of the greatest songwriters of our generation. So I would choose Natalie.
Awesome. Well, I think you've already started your own girl tribe, so that's a pretty big accomplishment for you too. So
thank you.
You should acknowledge and be proud of that accomplishment.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm trying to practice what I preach and not be like, oh, come on, it's no big deal. Like I am really like, because I think I still default to that. Like I still default to making sure I stay humble because, and it's important, of course,
yes,
to say, like, I don't want to become an egomaniac, but
right.
Yeah, definitely trying to practice what I preach and just say, yes, thank you. I am proud of that.
Good for you, and you should be. What is the best advice you've ever received?
Don't hold on so hard to what you believe to be true that you aren't open to learning and growing.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
How would you define success?
Success to me is contentment.
Okay.
I think if you're feeling content and whatever that means to you, I don't think success is money. I don't think success is a big house. I don't think it's any of that. I think if you can feel content, that you have reached the level of success that you are meant to be at right now.
Awesome. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that has helped you become successful?
I think in the radio I would say, yeah, in everything that I'm doing in life, I think my unique superpower is being able to adapt to anybody that I'm talking to. I think that goes back to making friends with anybody. Yeah. I can kind of hold a conversation with anyone. And I think in the industry that I'm in, as far as radio goes, that's super important. And I think now that I've found this like other cool project that I'm working on, being able to have a conversation with anybody and get on whatever level that they're on. I mean, obviously there's some things that are going to be over my head, like the scientists and stuff, but I'm still able to have a basic human conversation with them. Right. And I think that makes somebody feel super comfortable that then they're willing to open up more to me.
Awesome. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
You don't have to find every guy funny.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think I wasted so many good laughs on things that didn't deserve it.
Wasted good laughs. I love it. All right. We'll chalk that one up. I've never heard that one before. If you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what do you think that last 30 seconds would sound like?
Oh, this is what I struggle with too. Only 30 seconds? No, I'm just kidding. I'm talking your ear off over here.
Okay.
It would just be love each other with all your hearts. Take the time to enjoy each other, to listen to each other, to enjoy each other's company, and make sure that you're thinking of your fellow human as a human being. Everybody's got feelings. Try to see where everybody is coming from, and the world will be a better place for that.
I love it. Danaye, thank you so much for being a guest on Empowerography today. It was an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for sharing your insights and your experience and just your brief life story. It was amazing to chat with you. You're a wonderful soul and great person to chat with. So I appreciate you taking the time to be on the podcast today.
Oh, thank you so much. That was so much fun. And we've never met in person, but I feel like I know you. And thank you so much for being a male that's stepping up and helping women to be empowered.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I love what I do. I can't see myself doing anything else. So I feel like this is what I'm meant to do, and I love it. So thank you for acknowledging that. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Oh, thanks so much.
Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of the Empowerography podcast. My guest today was Danaye Maier. She is a DJ on Virgin Radio in Calgary and the creator and founder of A Woman a Day YYC. Thanks very much, Danaye. Have a wonderful day.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.